This is the Broken Sun podcast place, zone. You know how it is. We are doing our Scum and Villainy playtest. We're right in the middle of a chase scene. Well, maybe not the middle. We're close to the end of a chase scene, I think. And I am joined by a crew of lovely individuals who are going to introduce themselves. Let's go counterclockwise this time. So starting over here, we've got Keekers.
Hi, everyone. It's Keekers. I normally go first, so this is interesting. I am playing Gill McGill, the scoundrel and various scruffy men ripoff.
Excellent. We're also joined by Salazdraus.
Howdy, everybody. I also go by Michael Blood in the real world. And for this podcast, I'm playing Xavier Quagg. And you can find me on Twitter at Good Sir Blood.
Happy to have you. And we have also got OG Brown Sugar.
Hello, everyone. I'm Velvet. For this time, I'm playing Nova Valkyrie, the muscle, and certainly not privy to all the acts of violence going on. Totally innocent. You can find me elsewhere on the interwebs at OG Brown Sugar.
And I'm Matt, your friendly guide, who forgot to introduce himself last time. So it was just some nameless, formless blob who was running it for the entire first half of this playtest. But I'm back now. You can find me at YCaliber, or you can follow the show at Broken Sun RPG. Of course, our website, splintersofabrokensun.com, which just takes you to our podcast website at the time. But maybe by the time this episode comes out, I'll have finally finished making our website.
Ooh.
And speaking of webs, what a tangled one we've woven here. You have tracked down Cho, the assassin, at the behest of Stacy, a reporter who is part of the Eden's Gate cult. She wants you to capture this assassin who was sent out by someone, we're not sure who, on an assassination mission, which they have failed. And having tracked Cho to a hotel on Bedinia, you saw him with a robot in a papoose attempting to escape and kill you at the same time. You survived his attempts and have chased him down, despite being stymied at almost every turn, and now have him cornered in an alleyway, and he has been literally disarmed by Nova blowing off his hand with the gun in it. He does not seem like he wants to surrender and has warned you that what you're getting into is too dangerous and that even he is over his head. And Nova, you were about to tackle him. I assume a flying tackle from the back of your Tron bicycle.
Ring, ring. Get in the basket.
These are definitely not children's toys from the Centauran Fellowship. Nope. Definitely high-tech gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
They're totally battery powered. We just don't know it.
Well, that one's a bicycle, so it's
still got a battery.
Runs on person power. Yep.
It's pedal powered.
All right. So this is risky, and I would say this is going to be standard effects. You're coming from above. He has no hand. This is going to be risky, great effect on your scrap roll. Of course, you can always push yourself or walk away from the computer.
Velvet has. It's a foregone conclusion.
Velvet just got up and left.
Okay, so
bye, Velvet.
While we're standing there, we notice that the robot is making this noise.
Oh, I'm not hearing it.
Dang it, Kiki! Your moment of fame.
Your time to shine. Maybe I can edit in some purring.
Yeah.
From earlier in the recording.
That'd be nice.
Hey, Velvet's back.
Hello.
All right. You ready to make your roll, Velvet? You can always push yourself or get a devil's bargain. I don't know what an assist would look like in this situation, but maybe someone can explain. I don't know.
Someone give me a boost.
Otherwise, you're doing risky great on scrap. There's also 2 gambits that you can use in the pool. You're always welcome to use a gambit. It's just you take an extra die and I check off one of the gambits.
So fate point.
Yeah, but you don't have to justify it. It's just the luck of a scoundrel.
I mean, unless anyone is averse to me doing it, I think I will take a gambit just to make sure it goes down.
Hey, take both. Why not?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you can only take one at a time.
Take one.
All right. So you got your gambit. What you're doing is a little bit crazy, so it makes sense that you would do that.
Nova's a little crazy.
I want to swan dive off the bike and like Superman punch him on the way down.
I got that robot baby. I couldn't finish that. It was too ridiculous.
Don't hurt that robot baby. You put the comma wherever you like.
Don't hurt that robot baby.
No, he was saying, I want that robot baby, but
Oh, I was thinking about.
That just tells you how garbled I sound and how bad that accent is.
So this is risky?
Risky, great. The risk here is diving out of a... Hey, all right, you got a 6 in there. 5, 6, 4, 2. You land perfectly and take him down. He is... You knocking him out, or are you restraining him?
No, I'm knocking him out.
Okay. He is thusly knocked out, and there's no response from the robot in the papoose. It's difficult to tell if it's deactivated or destroyed or just being quiet. But yeah, you take him back to your ship.
Gil is going to run up and take the papoose with the robot in.
Excellent. Now the robot is
Okay.
completely safe.
Is Gil going to run up on his sprained ankle?
Oh, you're right. He's going to stagger up to it. And
You could scoot to him.
I shoot a net gun at the baby before Gil is able to grab it.
no.
Oh no, is it PC versus PC?
I would love to.
Okay. Are we going to do scrap or scramble?
As to get over there, it would be a scramble thing.
But because I'm sneaking around by just shooting a net gun at the baby, would you allow a skulk?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll...
You roll your skulk and you roll your scramble. We'll see how it goes. Just a fortune roll.
Okay, so is this controlled, like...
It's a fortune roll, so it doesn't have position or effect.
That's a 4.
And then just put your scramble. Put however many points you have in scramble.
Let me double check.
You've got 0, so you'd put 2 and take the lowest.
No.
Ooh.
Oh wait, I win.
Okay. Yeah, because you have to take the lowest on 0 dice. Okay, so Xavier, your net gun ensnares the... I'm not sure how it's going to ensnare just the robot baby that is strapped to this man's body.
Not sure either.
I guess it ensnares the whole guy. So you've got Cho in your net along with the baby pahoose, and I guess he's being tucked up to the bottom of your wheel.
I reel him up. Yeah.
Wait, what if it just ensnares the papoose and like it comes undone from him?
I think that might be more violent than is necessary.
Let's not risk the robot baby.
How about his hand? Are you going to leave his hand there?
I'll take it in an evidence jar.
I'm taking the hand.
Okay, never mind. Nova can have whatever she wants. I'm not going to fight.
I'm sure somebody will pay big money for the hand of Cho.
All right.
Oh man, what do I get? I don't get anything.
Yeah, the satisfaction of a job done.
Brutally done,
Well,
I would say.
That's not worth anything to me.
You didn't get shot.
I am messed up, guys. Folks, I am through it.
Okay, we're going to go into downtime.
As we flee the
so
scene.
You are back on the ship. Cho is in your brig. Have you detached the papoose from his unconscious
Of
body
course.
or left it with him?
We put it in a separate cell.
Okay. He's in the brig. There's a papoose with a robot in it in the other brig. And to get into downtime, let me just go over to that section of the book.
Can I do something during downtime? Can I finally attune?
You can try.
Yes.
Okay, so payoff and upkeep. Okay, payoff and upkeep. So after a job, the PCs take stock of their income from the operation. Successful job generates cred. You haven't handed over the person yet, so the job's not technically done. But you are on the ship, so I want to take a bit of time to do your downtime actions on your way to get payoff.
Okay.
Because the next mission is you have to deliver this person, Cho, to somebody. So the main candidate you have, of course, is Stacy, who's the person who hired you from Eden's Gate to, you were hired to retrieve this man for Eden's Gate by Stacy, your contact. But you also learned during the stalking process that the Shroud and the cults and religions, Ferg, Fekpo, and the Shipping Authority are all interested in Cho, and you would assume Cho's target. So the question is, do you want to go back to get the cred from Eden's Gate and complete the job that you were hired for? Or you're going to maybe try and get a little more cred from a bigger squad, bigger crew?
Honestly, I'd like to figure out why they're after him. I believe it's because he had to steal this robot baby, and I want to know what the robot baby is.
That was precisely my plan. I intended to look up information about The baby.
Okay, so you want to learn about the robot before you make a choice
But
here.
first, I'd like to
Yeah.
indulge my vice.
All right, so let's look at downtime. We'll deal with the cred part later. Entanglements. I'm going to roll some dice now.
I think my cat was getting creeped out by the mentioning of this robot baby because she just jumped away.
Oh,
Do we rest automatically since we're in downtime, or is that like a conscious action we have to take?
it is part of downtime that we are going to get to shortly.
Hairy baby. Hairy baby.
Okay. Unquiet black. What does that mean? Oh, well, that makes sense. So on your ship, you find as you are getting these people into the brig, your computers are not working the way that they should at the moment. So every time you try to log in to access the net or whatever, there's like little fizzles, the screens, what's the word? Fitzing, getting staticky. Controls aren't responding quite the way they are, quite the way they should. And eventually, you were able to discover that your ship is infested with some type of space lice.
Were they brought on?
Gill, this is why we space the pets that you pick up.
You'll either have to deal with it yourself or hire an exterminator or maybe some type of mystic to get rid of it.
I know a guy.
And that's why I got my robot. Because now I don't have to worry about you spacing my pets.
Is your robot dog going to try and deal with this infestation?
Ooh, can I have my robot dog deal with this infestation?
Do you have a robot dog?
I have a robot dog. It's my Urbot.
Then yes.
I don't know how I get my robot dog to do that, but
How do you interact with your robot dog usually? Does it have a crude artificial intelligence of some sort? Or is it just following a basic program?
well, I'm kind of picturing like K9 from Doctor Who so it can talk.
Okay. So then you would use command.
Okay, command.
We're just going to do another fortune roll for that. So you have 0 in command, so you'd roll 2 and take the lowest
Okay.
with fortune roll. We'll see how that turns out.
A1.
All right.
Oh,
Both of your dice there were 1. So the lowest of 1 and 1 is 1, obviously. So unfortunately, you are not able to at this time get rid of the infestation. And in fact, your dog returns acting strangely as well.
No. Why?
All right, we'll have to figure more of that out as we continue with our downtime.
Are space lice organic or inorganic?
Difficult to tell. You'd have to capture one to study it.
I know what to do.
Okay, so you wanted to study, but also we need to do outcomes, heat, generating heat. I'd say that you have generated 2 heat on this job. There was no killing, but there was property damage and illegal weapons use. Even if it wasn't by you, there were illegal weapons used. So that'll be 2 heat for you. And you were in Bedinia, so you've gained 2 heat there in that system, which I'm putting under Holt here, seeing as it won't let me change the name of systems here. All right, your wanted level, not a concern just yet. We did the entanglements. We'll jump through those. Okay, downtime activities. Between jobs, your crew spends time at their liberty, attending to personal needs and side projects. During downtime, you have time for 2 downtime activities.
I get 3.
Okay. Downtime activities are acquire asset, craft, indulge vice, lay low, long-term project, recover, repair, or train. So indulge vice is how you reduce stress. Lay low is to reduce your heat or wanted level. A long-term project is what it sounds like. We did a bit of those. I hacked them into fate. Recover is to heal from wounds, to heal from harm. Train is to gain experience. Repair is to work on the ship. Acquire asset is to get an item or a contact. And craft is to make something.
I think I want to recover from the sprained ankle, and would like long-term project, would that fall under trying to attune to the robot baby? It's like a short-term project.
We can do a roll. Once we're in free play, you can try to attune to the robot baby. That might be acquire asset.
Okay.
Okay. So when you recover, let's see. You clear all level 1 harm.
Yeah.
We'll say that I guess you dock at your usual hired goons station and see the doctor there. And if you have harm remaining, do you have any harm remaining after you clear all your level 1 harm?
No.
Okay, so that's all that you need for that. And what other downtime action would you like to do?
Well, if I can't do anything with the robot baby, then I'm going to have Gill. Oh, wait. Did anyone else get harmed?
Oh, I'm messed up.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. You need to recover some of your stress. So, I mean, I'm only at 3. So, if you guys want Gill to try to deal with the lice somehow in another way, I guess.
I have a pretty good way of doing it, I think, if you want to hold up.
Okay, so then...
You can also do more than 2 activities, but if you do more than 2 activities, you have to pay 1 cred for each activity that you do that's extra.
I don't even know how much cred I have. Like, is it just 4?
4 is a lot of cred. I don't know. Where does it say you have 4 cred?
Well, I'm just looking down next to less effect. It says cred, and then there are 4 boxes.
Oh, that's how much you can carry at any one time.
Okay.
How much cred does a person have? Sorry, while I'm thinking of that, what was the other action you wanted to do?
I just wanted to recover, like get rid of my 3 stress, which I guess
Don't overindulge.
which is by indulging in vice. So I guess while McGill is kicking it back with elevating his ankle and putting ice on it to repair this sprain, he starts drinking alcohol.
Okay.
So do I just click the indulge vice button?
Yeah.
It's asking for dice.
Let's see. Page 190. Indulging your vice. You clear some stress from your character's stress track. Explain how your character indulges their vice. It takes time, so let me done the crew's downtime. You may choose to have your character voluntarily lost in their vice during a session, meaning that they disappear and you play a different character. You roll to find out how much stress relief your character receives. A vice roll is like a resistance roll in reverse. Rather than gaining stress, you clear it. The effectiveness of your indulgence depends upon your character's worst attribute rating. It's their weakest quality, insight, prowess, or resolve, that is most enthralled to their vice. Make an attribute roll using your character's lowest attribute rating. So what's your lowest attribute rating? Insight, prowess, or resolve?
I mean, insight and prowess are equal because both of them have 2 diamonds or ticks or whatever you want to say.
You have 2 in all of them. You have the same. You have 2, 2, 2.
I thought resolve technically has 3, but
no, you're looking at the first column only for the attribute rating.
Yeah, so they all have 2.
Okay, so which one do you think you would roll for this? Is it knowledge or deception? Is it physical stuff, or is it willpower?
I guess it's kind of like physical stuff because he's drinking alcohol.
Okay, so you're rolling 2 dice regardless, but we're thinking of it as prowess.
Okay, so that's...
Okay, so 4 is your highest. How much stress did you have?
3.
You have overindulged.
No.
If your vice roll clears more stress than you had marked, you overindulge. A vice is not a reliable, controllable habit. It's a risk, and one that can drive your character to act against their own best interests. When you overindulge, you make a bad call because of your vice, in acquiring it or while under its influence. To bring the effects of this bad decision into the game, select an overindulgence from the list. Rash action, reduce your stash by 4, or if you can't, the crew takes 2 debt. Big talk, brag about your exploits. The crew gains +2 heat in the current system. Or lost, your character vanishes for a few weeks. Play a different character until this one returns from their bender. When the character returns, they've also healed any harm they had.
Okay, so I guess I can't do that last one.
No. I mean, you can, but you'll be missing from the next scene.
Yeah.
You have to make a new character.
I'm just thinking, like, did I want to remake a character right now and have it be, it's Kiki.
Okay.
Or the dog.
So basically, you're either taking 2 debt or you're gaining 2 heat in this system.
How do you all feel? I would go with heat, but I don't know how you guys feel or folks feel. Ugh.
Nayo, bring on the cops.
Okay, so
Call the fuzz.
Yeah, so we'll say that while Gill was recuperating, he ducked out of like the doctor's office and stole some like he was already a little addled from like some pain meds that don't interact with the alcohol, I'll just say, but...
Sorry, I want to jump in to interrupt quickly because you gain 2 heat when you brag about your exploits. So you went out and you started telling people in the local bar about how you rescued a robot baby from Cho, notorious assassin. So people around here know that now. They know there's a robot baby on your ship.
Okay.
Or at least that you've said there's a robot baby on your ship.
No, I'm totally telling you, this guy, Cho, had a robot baby. I mean, it was totally... Sorry. I can't finish that one.
Yeah, and then Gill just vomits profusely.
Didn't Tully do that at one point?
I've kind of ad-libbed that almost all of your characters vomit at some point.
Keva didn't, but Zonin
I'm
did.
sorry, that was Jason as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Zonin.
One of our characters has to vomit.
That's the Broken Sun promise.
We will make you kind of grossed out.
Wait, is it also rainbow vomit?
Who knows? It's the future.
We don't have a brand here.
So then it's black vomit.
That's right. Okay, then. Who's got downtime actions they want to do next?
Me, said the rabbit.
All right. What's Xavier going to do?
First things first, Xavier hides himself away in his cabin, locks the door, or shuts the his blinds. I don't know. he shuts his ship blinds so he can't see space and space can't see him. And then he puts on the Goonies on the SimSense and just veggies for a little bit.
Okay. So your lowest attribute is Insight, which means that we'll be rolling 2 dice and taking the lowest results for clearing your stress.
Excellent. I got 2.
Okay. So you can clear 2 stress from your stress track. Congratulations.
I'm still pretty on edge.
3 boxes of stress. I mean, you can indulge your vice a second time, or you can recover. It's up to you.
Well, I'm not in danger of overindulging at all.
No.
But I think I'll use my air of respectability to acquire an asset for right now before. And I have that's my extra free one. And
you get an extra. Okay. What asset is it you want to acquire?
A lice-eating space dog.
A lice-eating space dog. Okay.
Or lizard.
Or a space lizard that eats space lice.
Space lizard that eats space lice, of course.
Squeak.
How silly of me to think otherwise. And let's see here. Acquire assets. Roll crew quality. Your crew quality is 0. The result indicates the quality of asset you get using the crew's quality as the base.
Because of favors owed, I get +1 die.
Okay, so you roll 1 die then. Hey,
I got a 6. First good thing I've done.
You got a 6.
Yay!
So 6 means that you get a tier 1 asset. That's exciting. So you get a tier 1 lice-eating dog, and I think because it's for temporary use, that dog eats all the lice on your ship and in the robot dog, and is very happy to do so.
You rented it?
You have cleared up the lice problem.
I rented. This is a common thing you got to do. You call up Tony Romano, and he sends his space lice-eating lizard team. They set it loose in your ship. It's basically like a fumigation period. It's a 7-hour layover where you just don't go near that vessel at all.
Yeah.
And that is the time that Gil spent at the doctor's and then bragging at the bar.
Okay. I'm going to say that you all have 2 cred because I can't find any other information about it. And why not have 2 cred? That's like a month's wages, basically. Editor's note, a crew starts with 2 cred. Okay. So, good. What's your second action that you want to do?
I think I heal instead of indulging again and watching Goonies too.
Okay.
Is there a
So clear your level 1 harm.
Sorry,
in the future, Keekers, there is 17 Goonie movies.
No.
Okay. Do you have does anyone on the crew have doctor?
I do.
My friend Carrie does.
And Gil does too?
Yeah, Gil does.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Gil, do you want to, let's see here.
He couldn't doctor himself, but I guess he can doctor Xavier.
Yeah. Gil, do you want to do a fortune roll with your doctor rating?
Sure.
So that's 1 die, I guess. How is Gil treating the shot shoulder?
Sling.
Sure.
Say.
Okay. 5 is good. So that means you can tick 2 segments of your healing clock, of your recovery clock.
So what happens is Gil, I guess, like puts a sling on Xavier, and then like cleans the wound with some antiseptic and puts a bandage on it. And thankfully beforehand he had like used like a little handheld like metal detector to double check, and there were no like bullet fragments in there. It was one of those clean like blaster shots that does not have bullet.
You can also spend 1 cred to finish clearing harm.
Yeah, I'll do that and pay an actual doctor.
An actual doctor then stitches up the wound.
Yeah, or installs some type of, prosthetic bone, because the shoulder was pretty badly hurt, as I recall. Prosthetic bones. Okay, and that brings us to Nova. What's Nova doing for downtime?
The first thing I did was recover, so I just wiped up my my 2 level 1 harms.
Okay,
and
very good.
I don't know what else I want to do.
Well, let's see. You could take the risk of indulging your vice. You could acquire an asset of some sort.
I think I'll try to acquire an asset.
Okay. What kind of asset do you want?
Is plasma a thing in this setting?
Plasma as in the kind that you use in your blood?
No, the pew-pew kind.
Oh, sure. I mean, we said they have blasters. Why not plasma blasters?
We'll try to get some kind of plasma cannon.
Okay, so you can get a temporary use of an asset. So 1 special item, a plasma cannon. Okay, so that would be to roll your crew quality. So that's 2d6, take the lowest. Where are you going to get this plasma cannon?
My good friend, Chris Farley.
Of course.
How do I
find Chris Farley in his space van?
Down by the space river.
Down by the space river, yep.
Next to the space van, is like this huge like box fort that he's made.
Yeah. Okay. So you got a 1 on that, which means that I can even get quality -1. Chris has a plasma cannon that he can lend you. He gives you the plasma cannon and says, "Good luck. Enjoy the plasma cannon."
No, wait. If he's an ancestor of Tully, he has to have a gravelly voice.
He would be a descendant, and he lives in space now, so he can have whatever voice.
He is both granting Nova a plasma cannon that works and will not explode. It says so on the space post-it note.
Enjoy plasma cannon. Do not press red button. Press only purple button. Not red. Okay, bye.
And then he like shuffles back into the box.
He closes the door to his space Winnebago.
We never see his legs move. He just sort of floats. I love how sus he is. God bless him.
He is an illegal arms dealer.
He is our best friend. I want everyone to know that.
Living on a tiny asteroid.
Alleged illegal arms dealer.
He's the one who gave Gill his robot dog.
Mm-hmm. So this plasma cannon, is incredibly illegal. Not even a bounty hunting license allows you to carry something like this. It would be a bad idea to use it in any but the most desperate situation. But you have it for the next mission. That is probably as long as it will last before the horrendous energies it is keeping inside of it break it apart.
Will it corrode like a battery?
Yes.
It is already in the throes of acid corrosion.
It's got some liquids coming out of it. Okay, so what are we going to do with Cho?
Well, first we want to attune to the robot baby. Figure out more about the robot baby.
You're about to watch The Emergency or something just horrific come out of this robot child.
I don't even know what it looks like. Gill is calling it a robot baby.
And Gill has been pretty insistent that it's a robot baby. It is a small robot in a papoose.
We haven't had the heart to tell you.
It is
simply a toaster oven with a face.
Okay, so
it is about 3/4 the size of your torso. So maybe
that's about
a foot and a half.
That's about baby sized.
Yeah, I mean it's basically baby sized, sure.
Is this controlled or risky? Well, I guess like
this is 100%. This is a risky action, and your character is not a mystic, so this will be at most limited effect. Risky, limited.
Yeah, but he's got that like experience with the artifacts. So that's why he can do this.
That's why he can do this at all, yes. Risky, limited effects.
3.
Have you ever heard of brain bleach? Imagine that's been poured all over your brain.
Okay, so you reach out and you touch this machine. It is egg-shaped.
Ooh, eggs.
Yeah, it is egg-shaped. It is made of, it almost looks like gold, but there's no corrosion or scratches on it whatsoever, and it has white piping around it in a series of patterns that you don't really recognize.
Okay.
As you touch it, it doesn't crack or anything, but parts of it start to come off, and they sort of come off and start hovering around this egg shape. So it's got these indents where those parts came out, and now those parts are hovering a couple of inches away from the central body.
Oh my!
And it's
oh my gosh, guys! It's starting to hatch.
And as you do that, there is a beeping noise, and you get electrocuted. So you can take the level 1 harm nerve damage, and the robot thing remains like that for now. There is no further change. Even if you continue poking or prodding at it, it just stays like that. Xavier, you said you wanted to do some research.
I sure did.
It is now an egg babe.
What is it you want to research, Xavier?
I want to hit up my my contacts in the Hedonarchy to see if they've ever heard of something like this.
Okay.
Which I do so fully understanding that will probably give them the indication that I've seen something like this, if not owned one.
Yeah, of course. All right. So let me remove these clocks.
Just tell him you heard some drunk guy babbling about it.
Yes, your associate. All right. So you are going to them. I think they are they like you, but they're also consider themselves pretty fancy. Like if you come to their parties, cool, great, but you're not necessarily like one of the cool kids, you know? So where do you meet them?
I meet them on a pleasure barge that, for no reason, no one really understands why, but it's been called the Hasselhoff 23 for as long as anyone could remember.
Right.
And I attend a soiree in my nicest clothes that I definitely stole.
Of course. Now, is this one of your contacts you're meeting? One of your influential friends?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it Jezzy, a diplomat?
It is my bitter rival Manda, a guild member.
So Manda from the Hedonarchy. I will update that contact to say Manda, a hedonarchist. All right, you are at the fancy ball. What's Manda like?
Manda is just a consummate schmoozer, and she's everything that Xavier aspires to be someday. Manda is able to present to everyone, regardless of how she feels about them, a front of unfailing friendship and likability. But
okay,
she doesn't like Xavier because Xavier saw through it to realize that she's just, everyone thinks that she's kind of not pushing any sort of agendas at all. But Xavier can see that there's purpose behind every seemingly inane and innocuous attempt at flattery, or just being nice to someone you wouldn't expect.
Okay. So you attend the soiree on the pleasure barge with her, and you and she are having a dance.
Absolutely.
So as you are dancing, he goes, "Oh, Xavier, so kind of you to drop by. I know your schedule keeps you ever so busy these days. How can I help you, darling?"
Well, I pull her in a little closer, and I say, "Well, Manda, you see, I am in a spot of trouble, and I have a bit of a curiosity that may tickle your fancy."
"You won't be the first person who's tried to tickle my fancy tonight, Xavier."
Ha ha ha. Ha ha.
And she does a spin, and as she's spinning, she accidentally steps on your foot with her very spiky heel.
Only she can see.
Oh, pardon me.
Only she can see that there's a little bit of a tear forming in my right eye, and I
clumsy me.
Quite all right. I understand how strong the drink is.
There's a flash of a darker look in her eyes at that comment. So, what are you telling her? How much are you telling her?
You might have heard about how the hired goon known as Cho was recently apprehended.
It's the talk of the town.
Yes. mostly because of how much of the town was harmed in the apprehension.
And your associate Gill ran his mouth all over the asteroid.
That is true.
Gill is totally like at home on the ship, and he just sneezed and messed up while he was doing his nails.
You just see above Xavier's head. Xavier will remember that flash for a moment. Yes, he does have that rather detestable habit of speaking out of turn.
You know what they say, you can tell so much about a man by the company he keeps.
What do they say about men with robot dogs? Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha.
Oh, very funny. The music continues to play. You dance past some other fancy-looking people. Everyone is wearing a mask. What is your mask, Xavier?
It is, I think, at first it caused a great deal of revulsion in the folks who are well-to-do, but it's become more of an object of curiosity, and it's what really got Xavier back into Manda's slightly less than hateful graces, and it's a mask of Sloth from the Goonies.
That's terrible.
But it is metallic, and he had it made.
Is he also wearing an Oakland Raiders shirt?
I actually am wearing a shirt that just has the Superman S on it, but it's a ridiculously high collared shirt that's open to my navel, but it has the Superman S on my right chest, my right breast.
Have you procured the baby Ruth?
Manda's mask is a mascot that you might recognize. Most people in the future recognize this visage. It's not the most popular type of mask to wear because it is considered rather outrageous of a fashion statement. But it's got two very large eyes set in an orange, wide-mouthed face with a mane of orange hair surrounding it. And it is a gritty mask, is what she wears.
A symbol of the resistance.
Gritty?
The Philadelphia Flyers' new mascot.
Who has been co-opted in icon by the anti-fascist movement in the U.S. Because why the hell not? We needed one. And Gritty is a filthy beast like the rest of them.
So that's her mask.
Honestly,
as you're dancing, so what is it? You're trying to get information out of her, right?
I'm trying to just tease, because I know that she really doesn't like me, and eventually she'll either stop dancing with me out of, because I'm not giving her enough information, but I think that she understands that I'm also giving her just enough. I'm trying to give her just enough that she either lets something slip or just serendipitously just mentions something out of kindness or just thinking that it will bring something of interest back to her. Because the understanding is, that I'll give her something.
Let's do a consort roll.
Sure.
As you're trying to get that information. Now, this is risky because, well, I mean, she is your rival. She shows you up time and again, and she wants information that you're not giving. You want information that she's not giving. So there's a risk that you might let something slip too in this devilish dance. So we'll call this risky standard effects.
I didn't mention that I'd brought it, so never mind.
You can always declare that you have a thing. That's what load is for.
So would you say I have a light load then?
Sure, yeah. I can't imagine anything else in this situation.
Let's say I'm wearing fine clothes, which is 1. And I think that I've spent my entire load on bringing a large luxury item to her.
Okay.
And it was a bas relief of Gritty that I'd procured.
Lovely.
That I'd procured from my Earth Relics vendor, who definitely doesn't steal them from the Logistocracy.
It's possible that it came from a contact of Gill, because Gill deals with relics like that, or used to.
So do you think that I could leverage the possibility of a present for an extra die?
I think so, yeah.
Excellent.
We call that a setup action that has happened off screen. All right, so you got yourself a 5.
A baby crit.
And let's pop. Mm-hmm. If only it worked that way. Where is my page counter?
Gritty looks like a combination, like a cross between Animal from the Muppets and like Cousin It.
Yep.
Okay. So as you present this bas relief to her after the dance, during your discussion, you learn from her the information that you get is, so what is the information you want here specifically?
I haven't let slip that we apprehended Cho. I haven't come out and said that it was my crew that apprehended Cho, but she knows.
Yeah.
But I haven't let slip that we found him in possession of the robot, and I'm hoping that she'll drop some sort of rumor that I could chase afterward, like after this meeting on the barge.
Okay. You learn who it was that initially hired Cho to get this and destroy this machine. And it was the Shroud, one of the groups interested in having Cho and his target returned to them. And they're offering 4 cred for that return versus the 2 cred that Eden's Gate is offering. The information you learn is that the Shroud thinks that there's something about this machine that is a serious threat to the security of the entire region, which is why they needed it destroyed. But she does figure out pretty easily that you have that machine on your ship.
For sure. And I definitely don't try to obfuscate that fact. It's pretty plain.
Yeah, so that's very obvious to her. And as you are leaving the party, you get this horrible sinking feeling that you know exactly who she's going to call and exactly what she's going to tell them. And it won't be good for you. It might be time to move your ship.
Is it the Church of the Emergency that she's going to call?
No, she's not that kind of person.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, good. I don't like them the most.
It's the Logistocracy, and she's gonna sell me for the bounty.
Probably. Yeah. Most likely she's got contacts in the Shroud. Like they say, those masked partygoers, who could they be? Where are they from?
So she let slip that there's a bounty for the robot if we return them to the Shroud.
The Shroud is the faction that initially hired Cho to destroy the machine.
And so
that's what you learn.
If we get the jump on her, okay.
And they are also offering 4 cred for that. They're one of the factions that are interested. And they will have hired other bounty hunters. And now those bounty hunters will know where you are.
So basically, we need to destroy, if we want to go with them, we need to destroy the robot and be like, here's the broken remains of the robot. Yay.
So can I just make a random fortune roll to see if a thought occurs to Xavier is even a possibility?
What's the thought?
That he think that it would be a viable option to give the robot to the Church of the Emergency.
If that's the kind of thing Xavier would think, then you just think that.
But I'm trying to resist that urge because that sounds suicidal.
I think it sounds like a great idea. You're going to try and put that thing that is a danger into the hands of a faction that you don't like in an attempt to get rid of a faction that you don't like, right?
Yeah.
It's a plan you should propose to your crew.
Before Xavier leaves, and I see her probably calling someone on her wrist phone, and I take a deep formal bow in her direction and step onto the elevator.
She responds with one of these like hand waves, like "Ta-ta, dear." She said, "Darling." "Ta-ta, darling."
And when the doors close, Xavier rubs his foot.
All right, you're on the ship. Is this the plan that you're proposing?
I bring it up as an option, but then I quickly dismiss it because it's stupid.
Gill opposes that plan. He's like, well, I think we should give it to the people who are going to pay us more. And also, we get to destroy it. And it's not a threat to anyone, even if it is a robot baby.
Nova, do you think that new toy you got from Farley would be able to dismantle the baby?
We could give it a shot. And if the Shroud is going to pay us for the remains anyway, why not just give them the robot and then they'll break it?
A potential course of action. Do either of you have any acquaintances in the Shroud?
I do not.
Yeah, see, I don't think that...
You can declare that one of the contacts on your sheet or on your crew sheet is from the Shroud.
Could I have one of my neutral people be?
Yep.
So I'm going to say that one of the neutral people, Dr. Fatou, the mentor of... it's an African name.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Dr. Fatou is from the Shroud?
She works with them.
Okay. So what are you planning to do then with that?
I guess whatever Xavier was proposing, that we have her as a go-between or something to deliver it and the cred.
Would she be willing to open up dialogue with the Shroud? And then I tell them that we've basically I may or may not have lit our asses up by going into that barge.
I mean,
I drop that sort of very quickly.
I don't see why not. She wouldn't be willing to help us. She does like artifacts, and I believe that this robot would fall into that category.
Do you think that we should ask our prisoner what he suggests?
It's not up to me.
My only question is why Eden's Gate wants him terminated if he failed the shroud.
Eden's Gate doesn't want him terminated.
Oh, they want him brought back.
That's why they hired. That's why they hired bounty hunters, not assassins. Sorry if that was unclear.
I think that was just my mental lapse.
Wait, so we could potentially get more money if we give Cho to the Eden and then the robot to the Shroud?
The Shroud wants both.
Oh.
I mean, if anyone has moral issues, like moral scruples, so I doubt we do, being part of Cerberus, it's like which group would be more likely to kill him, and then if we hand him in, or less likely.
Well, that was my question too. Does the Shroud also want him alive? Because we do have a hand we could present them.
The Shroud has been hiring assassins, from what Xavier learned.
Yes, the Shroud is purely interested in the remains of the machine. They don't seem to have...
It wants...
What's that?
It wants both of them dead, gone, destroyed.
And it would be certainly easy, and like Xavier looks over at the wall where he can just depressurize the brig.
I mean...
So this might be a long shot, but what if we gave Cho, or like the 95% of Cho, to Eden, and then we give the robot and the hand to the Shroud?
Eden will be displeased that they do not have the machine.
Did Eden want the machine, or they just wanted Cho?
Eden wanted both as well. They wanted both intact, whereas the Shroud want both gone, and they're paying double.
Oh, never mind.
Well, I mean, if we go with one, will there be one that's more forgiving?
I would be more averse to upsetting the Shroud.
Then I say we go with the Shroud.
Nova, are you in agreement?
Yeah, from the looks of it, I'd rather be on the Shroud side.
Well then. And Xavier walks over to the brig console.
Are you going to destroy them then?
Yeah, I'll definitely ice Cho.
Okay. As you are pressing the button to... So it's Cho you're killing.
Currently, and then we'll see about the machine.
Okay. So you press the depressurize button, and Cho is flung into space. You see it takes a couple minutes for his body to, like, freeze and then decompress and all the fun stuff that happens to bodies in a vacuum. The crystals grow over and the eyes bulge out, etc. Cho dies.
I save the recording as proof of kill for if the Shroud wants it.
Okay.
Now it just occurred to me as a player that we could have like maybe given the Shroud that footage and given his body whatever. I didn't put too much thought into his murder.
Yeah, there's
a lot of things.
There's lots of things you can do.
I could have spared him. Oh well. Let Eden's Gate clone him. I don't know. We have his hand.
Okay.
Grow a whole new Cho.
Mr.
Are you going over to do the same to the machine?
I don't know if spacing it will destroy it.
Good point.
So I look at Nova. Would you mind expending your instrument?
It's what Chris would have wanted.
I have no doubt about that.
Good Chris. I love the guy.
Mr. McGill, would you please contact your good doctor?
All right. Do I have to roll something to do that?
I'll get to that in a moment. So you're destroying the machine now, right?
Yeah, we're going to shoot it.
Okay.
We probably should do it in here.
No, we're not. Go into cargo or something. No, we can do it in the brig and just, all else fails, punch a hole in it and send it into space and then shoot it.
As you are discussing this, the egg robot stands up.
Boss fight.
Oh
and you can see the pointy end of the egg is at the top, and the larger end of the egg is hovering at the bottom, and the things that came out of it are floating around it like some type of limbs or defenses. And out of the pointy end at the top comes a screen. It unrolls out of a slot in the top of the screen, and there is an LED-style face on it, like an emoji.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
There's an emoji face that appears on it, and right now it looks like a sad face. It says, "Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear your plans. I wonder if we might parley for a moment before you execute this form."
I am absolutely interested in a discussion at this point.
I mean...
Please continue.
Fantastic.
How did you...
That is not a baby, Gill.
He was just about to say how. I guess.
That is a grown-ass egg.
That is a grown-ass robot man, presumably.
Oh, well, it used to be a robot baby.
It's kind of you to notice. I have never been a robot baby, but I was at one time in my life a baby, that is true. The form that you see before you is not the one into which I was born, but rather the one into which I have been thrust by circumstance and ignominy.
All right. Well, now, why didn't you try talking to me when I tried to talk to you earlier?
It didn't particularly seem like the prudent thing to do at the time, but circumstances have changed, and with the death of my protector, it behooves me to engage with you on this level. My name is MKV. I apparently am a cat.
Sorry.
Mr. Gill, please, I will space that creature.
No.
I have come from afar, halfway around the belt, seeking assistance for a situation that has caused a bit of a spot of trouble for my compatriots and I. You see, I come from a broken sun, inside of a large space station. I was sent by my people at the destruction of our habitat, at the hands of a group of violent insurgents who seek nothing more than our total destruction. And what I require of you is either the protection of my life or the services of your ship, so that I may save an entire world.
What are you prepared to offer?
Hang on a sec, my child is awake.
Oh. So the question is this guy like after season? Like, is this like...
Yeah, I think that this Eggman was sent to just gather aid for the military in the sun.
Oh, there he is, our handsome boy.
It's the beard. My beard is horrifying.
My smile is somewhat obscured by my microphone, so...
All right. I was just concerned that there was something wrong with my computer because I had been making loud noises.
Oh.
Your child is adorable.
He is very cute.
Indeed.
All right, where were we? You were speaking with MKV.
What are you prepared to offer, MKV?
Well, as it so happens, the station upon which our battleship resides still has the capability of generating atmosphere, gravity, oxygen, sunlight, and is completely protected from both the emergency and the mistake. You can grow food there. You can survive on the surface. There is so much space on that station that is not being used. I can't imagine, but thinking that it would be a better life than what you're scrabbling through out here among the rocks.
How did you breach the mistake and the emergency to arrive in this sector?
I have been in a state of what you might call suspended animation for quite some time. I was launched from the station immediately upon the first launch of the attack on our ship, and have traveled here to the point which we previously knew was a rallying point for humanity, in the hopes of securing assistance for my people. In my powered-down state, using only slight thrust and gravity for propulsion, I was all but invisible to our foes.
What is out there?
Your guess is as good as mine. As I said, I was in suspended animation until I breached this shroud and was picked up by certain parties.
All right, but if you're offering us this nice
Did this egg yolk in our chain?
place, why don't you guys use all that space yourselves?
As you can see, I do not exactly have a human body at this point. I have been living in this machine for approximately 150 years, and however much time has passed since my escape from the station. These robot bodies, as it happens, are not quite suited for life on the station, such as it is. There is a certain corrosive in the air that renders the exact composition of these forms fairly dangerous to inhabit.
Matt, can I attempt to get a sense of whether he's on the straight and narrow with what he's saying? And it's hard to read a robot, but still.
Let's see. How would we go about doing that? I think that might be a study, right?
Yeah, I think study makes sense.
Ooh, I can do a study.
I mean, could we...
This is a controlled roll, and I would say that because you're dealing with a machine, the effect is limited.
Colleen, do you want to take this then?
I guess so. That would work. So it was.
Can I burn a stress to help and give you a die?
How are you helping?
I think I'm I think I'm trying to subtly speak some hand sign to Gill, who I know is also adept at reading people.
From all the deals he's had to do. So what was the effect again?
Attune might be better for this. Attune might give you standard effect, but we can continue with study if you wish.
Well, I have study and attune, so it doesn't matter much.
It's controlled limited for study, controlled standard for attune.
Can we just say that I'm rolling for the attune, though I study, since they're the same value?
Yeah, I mean, click on the attune and then just roll attune, right? And you'll be all set.
Yeah, and you'll just have controlled positioning, standard effect, and you have a 1 bonus die from me, and you can push yourself or, I don't know, ask Matt to give us further complications. It'll be great.
So it's standard. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay. You've rolled a 1 and a 2. Gill, you are completely convinced that this machine is telling the truth and that it would be the moral duty of anyone who had any concern for the future of humanity to do everything possible to assist this machine.
Oh my gosh, you poor egg. What were these insurgents like? What type of horrible monster would try to hurt such poor, innocent eggs such as yourself?
They are people who do not understand that sometimes necessity breeds what some might call unpleasantness. They feel that the future of the human race at large is less important than individual comforts and luxury.
My gosh, they're horrible, he says, completely not with irony, unaware
completely lacking suspicion,
and completely unaware of the irony of this. Well, I think we can definitely connect you with if my compatriots are okay, I wouldn't mind helping you, but if they aren't, I'm sure we can hook you up with someone who could.
It seems, unfortunately, that the ruling faction of this region, the Logistocracy, is not welcoming to my presence here.
Is he Dr. Eggman?
But perhaps you could find someone who would be more amenable to assisting us. I know that the Eden's Gate cult is perhaps suffering under the belief that our station is a planet, but perhaps they could be convinced to lend assistance all the same.
I mean, what's the difference between a nice space station and a planet, depending on how big it is?
That's what we keep telling the people who will live in there, but they are not satisfied with their lucky lot.
He just kind of shakes his head in dismay at these ungrateful people. Again,
Xavier keeps a side eye on Gill as he speaks to the robot man.
He is the Eggman. That's what he is. He's the Eggman. Oh, wait. Also, he is the Eggman cuckoo Jew. He's both.
It's also possible that one of the lesser powerful families in the region, perhaps the Badinia family or the Protectorate of Friedrich, might be willing to assist us for a more luxurious lifestyle than the one they are eking out here. I would not suggest that we trust those aliens. They do not appear to have our best interests in mind, from what I understand. But you would know this region better than I.
What is your experience with the Andromedans and the Centaurans?
Very little good. Let us just say that they were also attempting to wrest control of our assets to take as their own, even back before the mistake occurred.
Right, my concern is we're getting very little tangible incentive.
Oh no, they just take and they take. They don't give you that much back. He says.
The most important part is that the Andromedans are capable of existing and thriving in just about any environment, whereas we humans require a specific set of circumstances to thrive. And those circumstances exist only on Earth and in this station.
Earth remains.
Well, existed on Earth.
Can I study again to see if that's true? Darn it.
That's just me misspeaking. Like he doesn't, as far as you know anything more about this.
Oh, okay.
I'll say. So what do you want to do with this robot? Hand him over to somebody, and you want to try and help him yourselves? You want to enlist the aid of another faction?
What are you prepared to offer as a show of good faith?
As I have said, those who are willing to assist us will be given positions of more privilege aboard the station. Once we have dealt with this insurgency, the only issue is that our battleship has been damaged by vile internal discord, and we do need assistance in order to regain the control that we've always had. It has been several hundred years of stability, and I can offer you these records if you wish to inspect them.
There is a faction of dissent inside of your battleship.
This battleship has been an ark for many millions of humans ever since the time that we were forced to flee the Earth. There are bound to be those within that who forget the place of humanity in the universe and perhaps also strive for their own individual comfort over the survival of the species.
What will be done with the insurgents?
Oh, we have humane ways of dealing with them. It's just that our current technology has been damaged, as I mentioned. We have been able to pacify them in the past by minor alterations, agreements, accords, trades. Sometimes an example needs to be made, but you know what that's like in your line of work.
You sound very similar to the local sector government. Shows of force.
The local sector government would have you believe that scarcity is the only way to live. They would like to keep you here.
And what conditions do those on the stations live under? Do they not live in artificial scarcity?
Oh, much better. Everyone is taken care of aboard the station. No one has gone hungry there for many hundreds of years. Though they may now until our ship is repaired. They rely upon it to grow their crops.
I mean, this is a shifty egg. I don't trust him. And if he can't offer me anything tangible, then yeah, definitely pew pew.
I just have to say, like, out of character here, like this guy, I'm just like, ooh, you've really drunk the Kool-Aid, Mr. Sir or Madam or other.
So you can determine whether you want to turn him over to someone else, help him yourself, or destroy him.
Xavier is still firmly in the kill him camp.
Mm-hmm.
Because he sounds... This sounds like Logistocrat talking points to me.
Mm.
I mean, Gill is for helping him somehow. I wish he wasn't. Xavier is for killing him. And I guess it's up to Nova, the deciding vote.
Well, as I said, I have these records that you may inspect to show what the conditions are like aboard this station. At least when the battleship's solar rays are operational.
Does he produce some sort of, like, USB?
Yeah, he opens up his chest and a small glowing cube comes out, which he takes in his hands and, takes in some of the paddles that are floating around him and offers towards the door of the brig. This should be compatible with your technology.
Why are you made of gold?
This is not actually gold. I am plated with a few microns of gold over my carapace. It is an excellent material for conducting electricity, which is one of the many ways that my thoughts traverse this prison in which my mind remains entrapped.
Sidebar, there are metals that are cheaper and better than gold for that sort of thing. This guy is just totally hedonist spot. Well, this is like the evil version of him that I really...
The evil version of Hedonist Bot, who is, of course, morally upstanding.
Hedonist Bot is great.
Oh, you know what I mean. Worse.
Mr. Gill, if you would please retrieve the cube.
All right. And he takes the cube.
Yeah, MKV hands it over with, a smiley face emoji on his screen.
Miss Valkyrie, I would prefer to terminate this conversation. End text. And I pull out a blaster.
Can we say that Gill had left to go put it in the computer?
Your ship's not that big.
Well, he's in a different room.
No, I'm not saying you're going to leave the room.
Dang it.
Your computer's right there.
Okay.
You have to watch this happen or do something about it.
Mr. Quagg?
I hold I hold my pistol up to the brig, and I look at Mr. Gill, and I just say, "Today is a day of choices, Mr. Gill.
I don't know if I really like these choices.
But these are the ones presented. You get what you get, and you don't get upset." And he smiles for the first time. Really unnerving smile. Miss Valkyrie, if you would.
I will point the plasma cannon at Dr. Eggman and press the purple button. Not the red button, the purple button.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Roll your scrap. You are in a desperate position, and this will have a limited effect.
Mark your XP.
Yep. You're rolling a desperate roll. Mark your XP in
Limited
your
effect, right?
Prowess. Yeah.
You can push yourself.
Will pushing myself up the effect or my position?
Which one is it that you have in that move? You have that move that says you're unstoppable. You can push yourself to do one of the following.
What do you mean?
Oh, that's physical force. You're shooting a gun, so that's not. You can push yourself to... I guess because you have it, you could potentially push yourself to go up to standard effect. Or to add one die. That's up to you.
Could I use a gambit for this?
You can use a gambit. You've got one left.
I'll gambit it up. Gambit from the X-Men would be proud.
I'll also help by shooting.
Okay, go for it. And you're taking a stress to assist by setting up a crossfire?
Sure am.
All right, go for it. Are you taking the extra die or the extra effect from pushing yourself?
So is it still limited effect, but just the extra die? Oh, I'll take the extra... I guess I'll take the extra effect.
Okay, then you'll be rolling at standard, desperate standard.
And you'll have my bonus die, as well as your 3 scrap.
And can I put a gambit on top of that, or is the gambit my pushing myself?
Yeah, the gambit is an additional thing. You can roll 5 dice.
Yeah, I'll burn the gambit too.
2 bonus die.
Sounds like 5, right?
Yep.
So if I
Should
throw
be
the
5
gambit on
total.
top of this,
No,
what am I rolling?
Oh, you're kidding. I'm shooketh. I am shooketh. We got a 3, a 2, and 3
okay.
ones.
3,
This is
2,
what I get for
1,
rolling
1.
well those
I
other
am
times.
shooketh. That is... Ugh.
That is there's a very low statistical probability of that happening.
At least this bodes well for whatever I
Wow.
roll next.
Okay.
Anywhere.
So you press the purple button on the plasma cannon. Unfortunately, the purple button on the plasma cannon and the red button on the plasma cannon are very similar shades. And while Chris did label one with a sticky note, he labeled the wrong one.
Ooh.
You press the button, and the plasma cannon explodes in your hands, which is the worst outcome. As it says, 1 through 3. You suffer severe harm. A complication occurs. You lose this opportunity. Okay. A complication occurs. You fire. It explodes. You feel like you should be blown up. You feel like you probably should die in that moment. But as the smoke and fire from the explosion clear from around you, and from around you as well, because you're standing, from all 3 of you, because you're standing around in the same area, there's fires all over. There's the sound of an alarm going off in your ship because there's a hull breach. But the 3 of you find yourselves in a bubble of slightly crackling golden energy. And the egg is standing there with all 4 of its paddles extended towards you on the outside of that bubble, having protected you from the exploding plasma cannon's destruction.
I told you, people, he was a good egg.
He has a concerned emoji look on his face, like that flat mouth look. And he says, "Well, heavens. I know I should be mightily offended by your response, but frankly, it's similar to that I received from the Shroud and the other agents of the Logistocracy when I made a similar offer to them. I had expected better from you, but perhaps there's still room for conversation here."
Look, I say we take him to the people who are going to help him. Then you guys don't have to deal with him if you don't want to. He gets what he wants, and none of us have to die.
You look out past the bubble and you see that there is a hole in the ship where the plasma cannon exploded. So atmosphere is venting out. It would be a bad idea to be unprotected at the moment. You can still see that serene, concerned face hovering on the machine's face as it says, "Is there somewhere on the ship I could guide you in this force field that would be more amenable to your survival? I do not have much in the way of systems that can be damaged by exposure to a vacuum, but I do seem to recall from my time in a human body that is not true of organic forms. I would hate to see anything happen to you."
The helm will do nicely. We would happily conduct you to where you need to go. I humbly apologize for my flippant decision.
As I said, I understand. I would not be much of a diplomat for my people if I were not prepared to engage with the dangers one faces from radical ideas. But I do still hope that you and I can learn how to see. And the emoji face disappears, and instead it's just two large boxes with like a pupil in the middle. Is eye to eye.
Well done, Mr. Matthew.
He hovers you through the ship up to the cockpit, which I assume can be sealed off from the rest of the ship.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hovers you in there and hovers down into the computer dock, I want to say, like where you plug things into the computer. He hovers down into that, and one of his paddles plugs into it before he disables the force field. And you are all now safe for a given value of safe.
I make apologetic eyes at Nova Valkyrie.
I don't apologize. But I am a professional mercenary, and it looks like whatever team you're on will probably be the winning team. I have no issue signing up.
Wonderful. Now, if you will direct your ship to these coordinates, and the holo display, do you have holo displays or just standard screens?
We have screens.
Yeah.
Okay. The screen displays a coordinate in space that's still within the shroud, but it's like an hour away at the speed your ship can do. It's not near any of the major asteroids or shipping lanes.
Is it the boonies of the shroud?
Kind of, yeah. It says, I have left a package in this region that I believe will offer you a compensatory package for your efforts. And once you have claimed that and seen that I do in fact have your best interests at heart, we can move on to the next part of our acquaintanceship.
I told you all he was a good egg.
Yes, Mr. Gill, it seems he is hard-boiled.
Yes, very amusing.
I incline my head in his direction.
Do you take your ship to this place?
Gill would be for it.
Xavier has a bad habit of shooting himself into escape pods.
When you get there, there is a container that you wouldn't have been able to pick up, but because you have been directed to its exact location, you're able to, I guess, use your grappling hooks to bring it aboard.
For sure.
I mean, we have a hole in the side of the ship now, so.
Yeah. The MKV volunteers and says, if you do not mind, I am sure that you would be hesitant to open an unfamiliar package in the midst of your ship, so I will go and open it myself if you do not mind. You can watch on the cameras and see that I am in fact true to my word. And he sort of hovers out towards the where the container has been brought aboard. He opens it up, and it's full of precious metals, gems, technology. There's a lot in this container. It would be worth, as you are looking at it through the cameras, approximately 10 cred.
That's
a lot.
10 cred is roughly equivalent to the cost of a personal spaceship. And he turns to look up at the security camera in the cargo hold, and there's a big, like, smiley face with the capital D on his screen face.
That's a lot
It is
of
a
money.
very excellent.
I'm just waiting for a contract so I can sign it.
payment.
Miss Valkyrie?
The paddle that he left behind plugged into the computer springs open a holographic display with a contract on it. It indicates that you are willing to assist MKV and his people in making contact with sympathetic factions in the asteroid belt. Oh, thank you. Have fun.
Aww.
Dora.
All right, that you are willing to assist MKV and his people in making contact with factions within the Hygieian asteroid belt region and securing assistance, including your own, with recruiting that help and putting down the insurgents that threatens the future of humanity aboard his station.
I will study the contract carefully before I sign it.
It seems to be completely legitimate.
Then Gil will sign it.
I'll sign.
There are promises of land and promises of future wealth and investments, authority, titles, all these things on the station. Once you assist them in repairing their technology so that they can resume growing food on the station and protecting the inhabitants thereof, including the new inhabitants, which they hope to welcome from the Hygieian region.
I do believe they simply mean to replace their insurgents with us for whatever purpose, but money is a natural lubricant. I sign as well.
Okay. With that, we can take the time here to do a job where you try to negotiate support from another faction if you wish. Or we can call it here.
I think this is an excellent plot stop.
I mean...
and it's horrifically depressing for me as a
honestly,
person.
It's like...
The game is called Scum and Villainy.
Xavier Quagg is scum, but he sure didn't like it. He thought he was better. He thought he was better than this.
Gill is just completely taken, I think, on this. He's like, oh, okay.
I had to pay for those good rolls against Cho.
There have been some unfortunate rolls in the past hour.
Really thought you were going to crit that, Velvet, through no fault of your own.
Or at least any success. Would have been able to completely
it was
destroy
the
him.
first time, my roll, the first, checking him out, that failure, it was like, oh, and then it was like, okay, we have a second chance. Velvet destroying this guy, and then it was like, no.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for
the dice gods were displeased.
But you know what? I guess I don't feel as bad for Cho now that I think about it, because he was like, I don't know if he was for or against our egg villain guy.
You could have, Eggman. You could have maybe asked at some point.
Yeah, I don't want to dignify this. I don't want to give this guy the name Dr. Eggman, because that Dr. Eggman's cooler, at least.
Dr. Eggman he's a technocratic fascist. He is
think about it. He's just trying to take over the world with his machines. It's not like he wants to kill everyone. He just wants to kill one blue hedgehog.
Who does MKV want to kill that you know of?
All of our characters, more than one hedgehog.
Emran is worth several hedgehogs. I shall have you know.
Several hedgehogs in a trench coat.
Isn't that what Zonin?
Zonin is actually several moles in a hat.
In a trench coat.
Emran is several knuckles in the trench coat.
Emran is two echidnas exactly.
Wait. Okay, so then what's Maeve? Is Maeve
Maeve is spider, silly.
It's just spiders.
It's a cookie boogie.
There aren't any
just a bag of poo.
I mean, there are a couple. There's a bee character in Sonic, so I guess that's equal. And then
you mean Sonic?
I don't even know what the heck Keva is. Yeah, his name is Charmy Bee.
Of course it is.
Awful.
Maybe Keva would be.
Keva's a honey bear.
This is horrible. I was just about to say that she might be.
Wouldn't you be Cream the Rabbit?
I was going to say Silver because of the telekinesis, but I know a lot of people hate Silver.
One thing we didn't really get to try with the system that's fun is the planning of the job.
Mm-hmm.
We started to get into it when we were having when you went to do that consort to get information about Cho and the robot and the information that you got. And from there, it could have gone into planning a job and an engagement role, which is really cool part of this system. But we went a different direction with our story today.
I like murder, Matt. For some reason, I can't help myself.
Negotiations.
We're presented with the option to throw someone in space. I can't stop.
You did it.
But I have to be serious though about that gold thing. I'm like, gold is not the best conductor.
No, I mean, I'd like to be clear. MKV is a monster.
Yeah,
he is a terrible person.
You can tell because he was a southern charmster
with a gold egg. It was just I was just imagining the Varuk assault gold eggs, and then hid in a spot. And
I knew he was a real monster because he wouldn't let us die He had to convince us. He had to control us. He couldn't be wrong.
No, of course not. How could he be wrong? He's helping people. I mean, maybe that means that they have to live in a horrible dystopian society, but he's helping. Oh, he's the worst. I hate them all.
Bad. This is why Emran is going to destroy the sun if it kills him. I've made a character whose sole purpose is destruction.
I was so happy when at first I thought, oh my gosh, we destroyed it, at first. And then it was like, oh, this is just when Keva just heard it, that this guy left.
Alas.
And I'm like,
yeah, as soon as that breach happened in the sun, this guy was sent off, along with perhaps others.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that a representative was sent to the Earth Remnant that I'm sure exists.
Yeah.
Regular dozen or baker's dozen?
Hard to say. I mean, it depends how many settlements there are.
Velico dozen.
And beyond.
Yeah. Velico does.
Velico probably does.
So what you're telling me is
I'm going to need more mechs.
more spiders, and that eats it.
You might need more spiders. So how did you enjoy the system?
I love Forged in the Dark.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. My one issue is like just the whole where it's like I have to keep on entering stuff into this volume thing, and I'm like, I just can't just add one number.
You can always just, if you don't want to engage with the sheet, just use the standard /roll and put in the number of dice, because it's always just going to be a number of dice, and we'll remember the position and effect.
Sokka's tail cracks me up. Just has that one little poof at the
Oh my god, this dog is hysterical. Look at this fluff
He's very
monster.
fluffy. I know. You want to go on the walk too, but... All right. Well, I'm going to shut off the recording then, and we can decide over the next couple of weeks which system we want to try out for the next season.
Yeah.
So, until then, all the best.
Good luck, folks.
Space squids.
Space squids.
Space and squids.